I got treated like I was crazy for telling the truth. The problem is people don't want to hear the truth. They want a scapegoat, and they're going to scapegoat whoever it's easiest to scapegoat. People are dead, though. We've already gotten to verify that, yes, I know the life, I know the people, I know the dealers. We've gotten to verify the situations I was in and the people that I spoke about, that those people actually exist and those situations actually happened. Whether you want to hear it or not, whether they want to admit it or not, well, it's too late. They're already recorded and they're already on YouTube. They're already on Facebook. You make me do things by myself, and then I get abused. You tell me things that I have to make decisions based on. You know, there was probably 24 or more people easily that had verified to me that their lives were threatened before I ever tried to kill myself over that situation. And I did try to kill myself. I'd been trying to get the police to listen for over a year. Natalie was dead because the cops wouldn't listen. I couldn't get anybody else to listen. They all kept telling me what to do, jump through this hoop, jump through that hoop. Meanwhile, I'm stuck with a bunch of people who are like negative ninnies all the damn time. That's not how it was in Boulder. But I couldn't go back to Boulder. And then I got people that want to throw me away because I'm not positive all the time. Well, you know, I'm surrounded by pretty much negative people everywhere I go. Of course, this was back then. Now, I'm not really surrounded by anyone. I still try to be good to people in person. Now, this whole police violence and brutality against people, there's a lot of things they can do to cover it up, and one of those things is to slander your name. When they call you mentally ill, you have to have somebody in your corner because no lawyer wants to pick up the case when it's just you. You're too easy to call mentally ill, pretend that you don't know what you're talking about, and then the evidence is never seen. You're too easy to threaten, harass, or intimidate and get away with it. So, I mean, that's a friggin' monster and a half for an attorney. You need someone there with you in person, on your side, when you got to do this stuff. You have to have someone who can verify the things that you're saying. It's kind of difficult when you're being cut off from every resource that you're able to actually contact them with. When they found Natalie's killer, these people thought that everything was fine and dandy and that they could just ignore me for the rest of my life and it'd be fine. No, these people knew about the situation. And they just let it happen. That's the thing about being angry with everybody. It's not, well, it's a good thing I closed my eyes. It's not like I didn't try to tell people what was going on. It's not like I didn't make every effort. It's that people got this little nugget in their head that they think is gonna fucking fix everything. And then they just want to spit that at you 50 times. Like if they spit it at you 50 times, it'll magically make it work. One of the dispatchers, she said, you know, you just got to keep on calling until you make it work. Whew. You know what? In Chapel, Nebraska, they charged me as a criminal for trying to call in and turn in Scott DaCosta. Because I called literally in one night, back and forth. I'd call the Nebraska State Patrol. They'd tell me, we don't police the police. You got to call Dual County Sheriff's Department. So I'd call Dual County Sheriff's Department. They'd tell me they can't investigate themselves. I got to call the Nebraska State Patrol. Meanwhile, the situation come to a head, and I had people like Wendell McPhee and Sandy Fromm telling me that Scott Costa's running around saying he's going to run me out of town. He's also running around telling people that I'm schizophrenic. But you know what? That's pretty much standard procedure. That's what they should have tried to begin with. In several of my videos at the very beginning, I was like, you know what? This is probably what Boulder County will do. Boulder County will probably ignore me, and if I keep on pushing it, they'll take me to a hospital, tell the hospital that I'm schizophrenic. Scott DeCosta's not that bright. Then Scott DeCosta and his deputies that I was trying to turn in literally had me taken to the hospital. Well, the two deputies I was trying to turn in are the ones who drove me to the hospital, actually, in Scotts Bluff. Lied to the hospital and said that I had, that I was bipolar. Well, they can't diagnose that. These are literally two of the officers I'm trying to turn in by that point, and they are lying to medical professionals. Well, then it turns into a big giant mess after that, doesn't it? Those doctors don't find out if what you're saying is true or not after that. They don't care. They just assume. They want to believe that the officer is telling the truth. And why wouldn't the officer tell the truth? He'd get in trouble if he didn't. But then again, there's a reason he's utilizing the hospitals. My stance on violence is there for a reason. Myself alone, if it was a violence thing, and you get to hear in all these recordings, all these people who said they would help me, who would speak out, all these people who had said that their families were threatened, that their children were threatened. And this whole time I've been asking them, please speak out, share my story, show what's been going on. And it's, I can't. Well, why not? Why can't you tell the truth? Why can't you come forward about it? And they all say that they tried, but they produced no evidence that they actually did so. And I'm stuck trying to believe them. See, the Bollingers and their friends wanted to threaten and harass and intimidate anybody who offered to help me. Why do you think people are afraid to help me? Is it because I scream? No. It's because, alright, well, let me give you an example. The more stuff that I showed Mandy about the threats and harassment, not just against me, when we were recording those videos, we mostly focused on just a few small parts because there is so much. Once I started showing her the threats against people like Candace Bondurant and stuff like that, like, who wouldn't be scared? But all these people, they want to tell me about the violent things that they would do. And that right there is a big thing that scares the hell out of me. Why does everybody jump to that? And why is it that people are allowed to pretend like I'm threatening to kill people? And I'm literally saying that it's wrong. It's a horrible example. When your predators have positions of power and you are repeatedly forced to go to the very predators you're trying to turn in, and you are repeatedly lied to about the proper procedure to do it in, you do it in the proper procedure that it tells you to do it in online. And of course Mandy Singer went through that with me. We also verified I had already done all of those things repeatedly. It's not that I didn't follow the law, it's that law enforcement didn't follow the law, the Bollingers didn't follow the law, the media didn't follow the law, social media didn't care. And this is what it's really like when you don't have family. If you got a family member, just one family member who cares, they don't want this shit happening to you. They know it's bogus. They'll take a look at it and they'll speak up. When Candace Bondurant's telling me she's being followed by the police and being threatened with being thrown out into the snow with her 2 daughters, and 6 years later, or 5 years later, sorry, my sister is telling me that the police are following her and that she's having her life threatened and my niece's life threatened. What the hell, people? Carl Rogers told me that the police were involved in her harassment. My little sister is telling me the police were involved in her harassment. Candace Bondurant's telling me the police were involved in her harassment. These police are all over the place. I got evidence that police or law enforcement in multiple locations in Wyoming didn't do their jobs, went out of their way not to do their jobs. And you get to hear in that recording with Desiree how, well, I was trying to get the police to do something about it. She was hoping I would do some vigilante headhunting crap. Like, no. I'm not okay with hurting people like that. That's not okay. I believe Kevin McGregor deserves his day in court, but running a trap house like that right across the street from the shelter, that gives him infinite access to people who are very vulnerable. When you want to find missing people, you need to go talk to homeless women. That's who you need to talk to. Mandy Singer can help you find a lot of people just with the knowledge that she has. She doesn't even have to know the people. The intimate knowledge that she has of these situations and of these people, she can give you enough for you to go find people's missing children. She knows the protocols that prevent victims from getting help. She understands them inside and out. A lot of people do. Whether they're angry at me or not, I do believe that they'll tell the truth in court. At least Mandy Singer. There's a lot of stuff that she said while the situation was going on that after the fact she remembered it a little different. In that case, does it mean that she is lying to me? No, it means that it's been a long time. That's one of the biggest issues with the cops not doing a goddamn thing. Without you guys coming forward, they don't have to. They can call me mentally ill. They automatically win. They just make it a situation where it's their word versus mine. If there's body camera evidence, well, shit, they'll just make sure I got charges on me for at least a year. Boom, problem solved. They get to destroy their body cams. They got a running joke. Because, see, the people that are stuck in the jails, they're not even the middle-class individuals. The ones who are stuck in jail are mostly the ones who are homeless or extremely broke. The guy who's living with his girlfriend, right? And he gets into a domestic abuse situation where she's just beating on him and beating on him and beating on him. And even though everything's in his name, he leaves. He's like, you know what? She can have the place. Just hope she knows I'm not going to continue paying for it because I'm not going to stay there if she's there. So he's walking down the street and then you got the police that pull up on him. Next thing you know, he's getting arrested for domestic assault and there's no evidence. He just pissed a girl off. And of course, he's homeless at that point. That's what they write down. They write down that the man was homeless. Well, that makes it so that people don't really want to listen. He's not literally homeless. He's paying rent somewhere. He's got his name on the bills. Why are they writing homeless down? or transient. That's another popular one. These are hate words. It's the way that they're used, the context that they're used. It's intended to play on bias, and that's what our court system is based on. They say, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? But then our public officials don't have to tell the truth. People keep telling me that. They don't have to tell the truth. They're allowed to lie. Even in a court of law? Even on the stand? No. That's always against the law. And the fact that I have the evidence to prove that they lied on the stand, lied in their court documents, intentionally misled the situation and left out important information because I was trying to turn them in as well. You know, I don't like cops for a reason. I want to trust them. I know that I can. They keep trying to set up a scenario where it's one-on-one with them, and that can't happen now. The way that they've blown me off and spoken to me and spoken with me and spoken about me shows that. Someone needs to take charge in this situation. I'm not allowed. I could have all the evidence in the world. It doesn't matter if somebody isn't with me speaking up. You can speak up from anywhere in the world. See, that's what a lot of people they're in foreign countries, right? And they don't understand their opinions do actually make a difference here. When you're in Australia or the United Kingdom and you're power pounding out your opinions on the keyboard, Americans do listen. They listen even more in the gaming industry. A lot of the reason for that is because they can hear you. They can hear your voice. Those of you with a British accent or an Australian accent, Americans love that. You could be the most ignorant Australian on the planet, but the fact that you're speaking makes people want to listen. You could be the dumbest Englishman on the planet, but the fact that you've got an English accent makes people assume that you're sophisticated. Your opinions do matter. When you share information, like the Johnny Depp thing, right? I'm sure it's been spread more by social media than the actual media. You can see what America cares about when you look at those things. You can see where their bias are placed, where looks and money are important. Where the things that they tell me about the law and what we're seeing in the Johnny Depp court cases, they're completely different. I'm not allowed to bring up anything from anywhere, right? Johnny Depp can not only bring up stuff from all over the planet, and so can everybody else apparently. Literally, they're talking about like Paris, France and stuff, you know? This might as well be the moon for somebody like me. I'm about as likely to see Paris, France in my lifetime as I am to see the moon, or to land on the moon, I should say. I'm not allowed to bring up stuff that happened with my predators prior. I'm not allowed to bring up any of their harassment or threats from other jurisdictions. They're allowed to bring up anything that they want from any jurisdiction. Now, I'm told that because Dual County doesn't have a police department, that I have to turn them into the Nebraska State Patrol. I was also told that I have to try to turn them into a surrounding jurisdiction because they can't just ignore me. I'm an American citizen. They can't just ignore me. My disabilities do not give them the right or excuse to commit harm against me, or to ignore crimes that are committed against me, or to cover up the fact that they ignored crimes against me. It's blatantly the same thing everywhere I go. I have to do it alone. It's the same words, the same things, the same procedures to get you absolutely nowhere. I went through these procedures in Nebraska not once, but 3 separate times. 4 separate times, because it was once with Tamara, and then twice with Jen Beebe, and the second time she just pretended I didn't exist for 6 months, even though there was a court order in place for her to do her job. Imagine my surprise when she was a jail guard at Scotts Bluff. That's right, they didn't keep her at Region 1. Now, working at Region 1 is Nicki, and guess what? Nicki has a kid with Robert Franklin Warnick. The original situation with Robert Warnick, pretending like I was threatening him or whatever fucking crap. When he came out into the street and was threatening to shoot me in the head, it's because he had heard a rumor, something about his ex Nicki and blah, 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 blah. And then there was, like, he just kept on making any excuse that he could, that he just literally come out into the street and threatened to shoot me. No fucking reason. Like, what the fuck, dude? That is not fucking okay. But when I try to turn it in, how do I get treated? I have to go in by myself. I get treated like I'm mentally ill, like I'm making it up, like it's a goddamn hallucination. The police needed to do their jobs. They feloniously did not. It did result in dead people. Yes, they have every incentive and every reason to hide what the fuck they did in Chapel, goddamn Nebraska. What's killing them gonna do? I get that Sarah Bacon, she's telling me that she'd do this and she'd do that. Well, I'm not willing to do those things. I'm trying to do it the legal way. And the biggest issue that I have is that instead of helping me to do it the legal way by speaking out about your experiences, about what you went through and how it affected you. Now look at my situation. I mean, shit, I should not have to walk anywhere. It's fucking hell for me, let alone with that backpack on. But I gotta try to get help. I gotta try to do these things all by myself. My predator's got plenty of help. And that slander gives them plenty of excuse, don't it? Because it don't matter what the law actually says written down. What matters is, what does the public care about? What's public opinion? It doesn't matter how innocent you are if the American public hates you. It don't even matter if they actually catch the guy that did it, like with my situation and Joseph Michael Lopez. The American public don't want to admit that they're wrong, and they don't care who's punished. Matter of fact, they get angry and they double down on it when they've been proven wrong. Oh, well, Sean may not have killed Natalie. It might have been Joseph Lopez. It was Joseph Lopez. He's serving 48 years in prison for it. The thing you dummies aren't paying attention to is that while you guys learned about this from a web sleuth group, these are people that I know, love, and care about. When I asked Brandon to speak out, it was like it was pulling teeth. Did he help me get out of Virginia? Did I go and speak to him? I spoke to him at the skate park. That's where he met me. He met me over, not like when we first met, but before Natalie was killed and after the situation in Virginia. I met with him at the skate park in Boulder. He told me about his rough spot with Veronica. Told me about his personal life. Here's the thing. It's not that I don't care about your personal lives. I do. When you guys were telling me all of that personal stuff, yes, I do care. And I do actually listen and take it to heart. But y'all aren't listening to me or taking it to heart. When you tell me these things and then you don't come forward about it or speak out about it or provide any evidence whatsoever of it, you're going to tell me that people were threatening to kill your kids because you were trying to help me. And then when I tell the cops that, they pretend I'm schizophrenic for saying it. I say anything at all without you guys speaking up, no matter how much evidence I have, no matter how much I post our conversations on the internet. You guys needed to speak up. You tell me to man up. You know what? I'm the only one who's told the truth through all this. People have been threatening to kill my family over lies since 2016. Sorry, they didn't threaten to kill my family in 2016. That didn't start till early 2017. People shoving me and smacking me started in 2016. So did cops breaking my shit. That's right, property damage. They'll break your shit, tow your shit. If you're poor, they'll do whatever they can with your shit to try to make it expensive for you to try to get it back, especially when you're trying to turn them in. And yes, I tried to turn them officers in Chesapeake, Virginia in. I told them what was going on. They should have written it down, and I should have had access to that. But Candace Bondurant, before I left that hospital, Candace Bondurant said she was going to bring my paperwork home. I never saw it. The doctor there is Cody Craig. I tried to get my information and my paperwork. Turns out he's no longer there. Well, my records should still be there, shouldn't they? My wrist still hurts from being assaulted by Waylon Lolatai. In these situations, the reason that these people got away with committing these crimes against me is because nobody actually cared enough to speak up and to stick with me and find out what was actually going on. I had to post this stuff up on Facebook and YouTube because my friends didn't have the time to listen. They had plenty of time to argue and texting and to literally go out of their way to take everything wrong, any excuse whatsoever. People who tried to help me, I spoke up about how they tried to help me. Later on, they told me that I was ungrateful because they had tried to help me. I'm like, hey, I asked you to speak up. You never did. I got called schizophrenic for saying it. I got treated like I was schizophrenic for telling the truth. I needed you to come forward for a reason. I was getting treated like I was schizophrenic for things that you had told me, or for things that you were there for, things that you did take a part of. But you didn't want to listen, you just wanted to argue. Or in the case of Brandon, after him and Veronica broke up, he just wanted to talk about chasing tail. Dude, speak up. King of Nichols didn't want to speak up. She said she was afraid of getting deported if she did. She is an American citizen. Yeah, she was born in Hungary, but she's an American citizen. She's pissed off at me because she admitted to personal stuff in that conversation. She also admitted to the fact that I was telling the truth from the start. I need help turning this in, and if nobody is with me, they're not going to take it seriously. They're going to force me to go to the same officers that I'm trying to turn in over and over again, and this is so inhumane. These officers that I've been trying to turn in since 2018 sent me to prison on bogus charges for trying to turn them in, assaulted me for trying to turn them in, assisted a sexual predator. Just a little over a month after assaulting me, they assisted a sexual predator in getting away with assaulting me after already assisting that sexual predator, Robert Franklin Warnick, with getting away with stalking me and threatening my life on multiple occasions. When he assaulted me when I got out of prison, I knew all I could do was take it. Nebraska State Patrol knew that there was a conflict of interest between myself and Scott DaCosta and his department all the way back in 2018, and they did nothing. They knew that I had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of restricted calls. One of those calls, there was almost 200 restricted harassment calls or texts or messages in. That's on YouTube. But then they take away my access to this evidence, and I got to try to tell a state-appointed shrink what's going on after he's been told that I'm schizophrenic. Jesus, fuck. And then the cops here don't see anything wrong with telling people that I'm a schizophrenic who's on drugs. I gotta try to go to these people, and I'm expected to trust them when the very first thing they did was show me they're not trustworthy. Yes, they're nice. I shouldn't have to curse at people for them to understand it's a serious situation. They want to pretend I'm a bad person for cursing. Well, guess what? People are dead. People that I care about. Because this is how cops treat us. We're not the bad guys. Law enforcement is. Our friends are dead because of bad law enforcement, bad laws, and a whole bunch of propaganda BS pushed against us. Specifically by law enforcement, because they like to victimize us. We're easy. We're easy prey.